Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media, and today we are talking books. Specifically, these are some books that I ended up picking up last month from my local used bookstore, and I think some Second and Charles in here as well, plus a bit of manga. Just two manga to talk about, but Barnes & Noble had a sale, so I had to take advantage. So before we get into all this, if you guys have a quick second, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right in to my book and manga haul for the month of March. Okay, so I'll start off with the manga because, like I said, I only have two of them, but Barnes & Noble had a buy one, get one 50% off sale during like 2 weeks, I guess it was, during the month of March. So I had to pick up the two latest one of the latest in my series that I love, and another that I just needed something to go along with my buy one, get one. So I figured I'd pick up the next one in the Chainsaw Man series. So this is volume 5 of Chainsaw Man, and this is written by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Now, this is a series that I did the first issue of this, the first volume of this, in my very first manga reading vlog, like 2 years ago now, and I loved it, but I've never gone back to the series. I do own now the first 5 volumes of this though, so I do want to do a reading vlog where I try to, get up to this point at least, since this is what's in my collection. So had to grab this one. I thought it was a really good deal. These are only $10 normally, so getting one of them for 5 is a really good deal. So that's Chainsaw Man Volume 5, and then of course the new Spy Family came out, so I had to grab it. This is Volume 9. This is Tetsuyu Endo. So I'm not caught up yet, so I can't even read this one as of yet. I still have to read Volume 8, but I will get around to that ASAP because I love what I've read so far of Spy Family. So had to grab this one. I know at some places it was releasing early, but my stores just didn't have it until the actual release date, which was late March. So yeah, happy to have both of these in the collection. Again, the next volume I needed in the Chainsaw Man series, plus the latest Spy Family. So two really cool manga for the collection. So I guess I'll go middle grade, young adult, and then adult for the rest of this video here. So this first one, I'm now realizing as I pick this up that I actually picked this up at a thrift store. It was like a St. Vincent de Paul, which we don't have a lot of those around here. And I was actually out at my parents' or near my mom's house, and that's where I ended up finding a St. Vincent de Paul. But anyway, this was too cool to pass up. I'll just show it now, even though it was technically a thrift store find. This is Alfred Hitchcock and the 3 investigators in The Mystery of the Screaming Clock. So that's fascinating to me. This has Alfred Hitchcock's name on it. I'm sure he had nothing to do with it outside of putting his name on it, but it's written by Robert Arthur. I should also mention that. It almost looks like something like the Boxcar Children or the Hardy Boys, something from that era. I had to grab it just because it's Alfred Hitchcock and I'd never seen this before. This is actually from 1968. So that's pretty darn cool. I thought this one was pretty fun to add to the collection. So this is Alfred Hitchcock and the 3 investigators in the mystery of the Screaming Clock. Let me know if you guys know anything about this series. It looks like it goes a pretty lengthy run, if nothing else. You can see all of the other ones listed here. So there's definitely quite a few in this series from the 60s. I'd love to know more, but I thought this was a cool find. So just looking at my stack, I think the rest of these are actually from my local used bookstore. They were doing a buy one, get one free sale on all of their kids' books for the month of March. And then every Tuesday, they were doing buy 2, get 1 on all the other books in the store. So, of course, I had to stack up on some middle grade. So I have a big old stack of middle grade. First one here is a series that I've been trying to collect for a while now. This is Lynn Reed Banks's The Secret of the Indian. So I used to love The Indian in the Cupboard when I was a kid. I loved the book and I really loved the movie. It's so awesome. And so this was just a series that as I was going through thrift stores, I was always trying to find it. Well, I stalled out because I could not find, I had like book 1 and 4. I couldn't find the other 2. Well, now finally I have book 3, which is The Secret of the Indian. So I think this is right. I think I still need The Return of the Indian in order to have all 4 in this series. But yeah, really great original book. I need to read the rest of it now. So I thought this was cool to add for super cheap. So this is The Secret of the Indian by Lynn Reed Banks. I think this is the only media tie-in book I have in this video, but I will mention I have a big ol' stack of novelizations and other media tie-in material that I'll go over here in the coming weeks because I've been finding some really cool things. But anyway, this is Star Wars Jedi Apprentice, The Rising Force, and this one is written by Dave Wolverton. what book number is this? This is actually book number 1 of the Jedi Apprentice series. Turns out I had like the first 4 of this, excluding the first one. So I had to pick this one up when I found it. I always love when there's a series of these middle grade Star Wars books and I find a random one that I need. It just makes me happy. So yeah, I had to grab this one. I've not read any of the Jedi Apprentice series yet, but I'm always going to collect these types of books when I can. So Star Wars Jedi Apprentice, The Rising Force. I'll just include these 4 together because they're a part of a series that I'd never heard of, but it looks like a lot of fun. This is The Zombie Chasers, and this is written by John, I'm going to go with Clofer, I'm going to guess. But like, I don't know. So it's a middle grade zombie series. You can see this is book 1, but there's like a ton of drawings in this. That's not a very good example, but there's, I don't know, I guess not a ton. There are some drawings in this though. So I thought that was pretty cool. Some illustrations. So I grabbed book 1, and then you guys know I'm a sucker when it comes to a series for cheap. So I had to grab book 2, which is Undead Ahead. You can see book 2. And then spine number 3, which is Sludgement Day, which has an awesome cover on it. I think that looks so cool. And then finally, book number 4, which is Empire State of Slime. So like I said, I don't know anything about this series. I'd never heard of it before. But when I find 4 books for as cheap as these were going, I had to grab them because they're zombies and it's a middle grade series. I'm sure I'm going to have a fun time with this. And if nothing, I'll hold on to it for my kids because I'm sure they'll, get a kick out of them eventually. So yeah, I thought these were really cool. If you know anything more about this series, let me know because hopefully they're good, but I really just don't know. So this is books 1 through 4 of The Zombie Chasers. So here's a random one from another horror middle grade series written by Betsy Haynes. This is Bone Chillers, and this is spine number 5, which is called Strange Brew. Now I have like maybe 1 or 2 other Bone Chillers books in my collection, so I wanted to grab this one. Let me see if I can find a year on this. I think this is the 90s. Yeah, 1995 is the copyright on this one. So definitely of that Goosebumps era. So I'm all about these. Whenever I can find middle grade horror from the 90s, you guys know I'm picking it up because I love this stuff. So Bone Chillers, book number 5, Strange Brew, written by Betsy Haynes. Speaking of mid-90s horror middle grade, I have 2 books in the Shivers series. So first up is book number 8, which is Terror on Troll Mountain, and then book number 11, which is Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. So both of these are written by M.D. Spencer, and I have now probably, I don't know, somewhere between 5 and 10 books in the Shivers lines. And this is awesome. Again, this is what I love. And so I'm always collecting these when I can. And again, for the price, absolutely had to grab these. Both excellent covers. I think the Troll Mountain definitely takes the prize for best cover out of these 2, but still, I love this. So very cool to add both of these Shivers books to the collection. And then the best of the middle grade finds today. Unfortunately, it's not one of the original releases for it, but still, it's a Ghosts of Fear Street book by R.L. Stine that I did not have. This is How to Be a Vampire, and I can't even tell you what book number it is because it's not listed on the spine, which is a real shame. I hate when they did that with these reprints, but this is originally from 1996, but I see a copyright on the back of 2011, so that must have been when this got reprinted. So yeah, I bought a bunch of these from Second & Charles a couple years ago, and so it's kind of difficult to find ones in this series that I don't have. So when I came across this one, I got really excited. Now, would I like to have the original 96 release? Absolutely. I'm willing to bet that the cover for the 96 release is a heck of a lot better than this. Maybe I'll toss it up on the screen here just to see if I'm right or not. But like, this is not that great, but still, it's a Ghosts of Fear Street book, so I have to check this out. This is the book number, I'm not sure, but this is How to Be a Vampire from Ghosts of Fear Street, written by R.L. Stine. Okay, so I only have 1 young adult book, and it's a Christopher Pike novel, and I didn't own it, so of course I picked it up. This is called Road to Nowhere. Just look at that cover. Like, this is why I love this era of young adult horror. So this is very much of like the point horror era. Let me see if I can get the year on this one. This is 1993, it looks like. So interesting. I thought I would have put this a little bit later, but yeah, so I don't know. This just looks great. I guess our main character is running away from home and she ends up picking up a hitchhiker, which things are going to get fun from there. So yeah, very excited to have this Christopher Pike novel in the collection. Always try to grab his when I can. This is Road to Nowhere. Okay, so I did find a few adult novels as well. I have 3 of them here, and these are really cool. So the first one is written by John Shirley. This is called Dracula in Love. Now, this is one that I grabbed because of the author. John Shirley is really well known. He's supposed to be a great horror author, so I had to pick it up. Look at that cover. It looks pretty darn good as well. Now, to be honest, I'm not the biggest Dracula fan in the world, but again, I was like, buy 2, get 1, so I needed a 3rd one, and I thought this was like the best option they had. My only is it this one? No, it's not this one. There's one of them where the cover might fall off. I don't know if I ended up picking that up or not. I guess we'll see in a couple seconds here. But yeah, really cool one. This is Dracula in Love by John Shirley. So this is the one where I'm worried about the cover falling off, but again, I couldn't pass it up. This is The Scream, and this one is written by the infamous splatterpunk duo of John Skip and Craig Spector. I've actually never read a book by them, but this is a wonderful place to start. This one or the next one. You know what? Let me just show them together because it's also the same authors, Craig and Spector. The Light at the End, and this is probably... Is this their most, like, well-known work? I feel like it is. It's the one I know best from them. I believe it's a vampire book, and so very intrigued to check it out. What's really cool about this, I'm going to stick this one down for a second. So, again, I am a little concerned about the cover, but it does have this really cool something in here. If I can get it open. There we go. There's actually a poster included in this. That is just amazing. Like, how cool is that? I don't think I've ever seen that in a book before, so it's awesome. But like I said, I am a little bit concerned about this cover falling off, so I have to be very gentle with it, but still, what the world? Oh, okay. I was like, wait, is there misprinting? But it's made to do that. Anyway, I am all over the place with this. The Scream, cannot wait to check this one out. And then The End of the Line. Just 2 really interesting books from Craig and Spector. At least that's what I hear. So very excited to get around to both of these, which frankly, they're not very short. So it'll probably take me a little bit to get through them, but still really excited to add cool horror books like this to the collection because you just don't see them very often. And so very happy to find both of these. So those 2 books are going to wrap up all of the books that I ended up picking up last month. All right, so sales came in clutch in March, which is why I ended up adding so many books to the collection, which frankly, I'm trying to slow down on as I've talked about. So this is without a doubt the biggest month I've had all year. So hopefully it'll be the biggest of the year, but we'll see. And like I said this was all the books I picked up in March, but I did grab a bunch more novelizations. So I'll talk about those in a separate video. But anyway, guys, let me know if you've read any of these. And if so, do you recommend anything over another item? Let me know what your recommendations are down in the comments below, and any and all thoughts. I always appreciate all of that, so thanks so much for that support. But as always, guys, if you enjoyed this one, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk books, I talk all things media. Books, movies, video games, graphic novels, manga. If it's media related, I'm interested in it, and if you are too, you might consider subscribing. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.